and welcome to Signed a Fangirl, the podcast where I reread the fanfiction that I wrote at the ripe age of 12, and let me tell ya, they're all pretty bad. Last week, we read my Dan and Phil fanfiction called Cancer, which was about Dan Howe having cancer, and it was a whirlwind. There were some disgusting things in there. I was quite shocked that I was writing about those things at that age. This week, I asked you on Instagram what you would like me to read, and you voted for my story, Coffee Stains, which is about Troye Sivan and Connor Franta. I am so nervous for this book. I just know it's going to be so poorly written. It is also the first book that I ever completed on Wattpad, so this one is a full story. We're in for a ride. Before we get into reading this week's book, I just want to thank you all for all of the love and support on my first episode of this podcast. I was not expecting it at all. I genuinely thought only my mum would listen, but having all of your support and all of your lovely comments has been so incredible. I'm so grateful that we've got a little community forming, and I can't wait to see where this podcast goes. Anyway, let's read this book. I've got the summary right in front of me, and it says, tangled in his white sheets, the sun pouring over my body, I realized how much I loved him. The way his forehead would crinkle when he smiled, the way he looked at me in the morning, a smile draped over his face, the way he would run around, though somehow always end up in my arms, the conversations we had in the AM, the way he made me feel, though he loved someone else, more than he had ever loved me, and all I wanted was him. Basically, Troye is in love with Connor and is determined to win his love at Vidcon. Oh yeah, you heard that right. We are going to Vidcon. Call up Hank Green. We are on the guest list. I didn't know anything about Vidcon. I think I saw one vlog about Vidcon, so I feel like all of this is going to be inaccurate. Oh god. This book is 20 chapters long and it has 69 pages. Ooh. I don't think we're going to be able to get through the full thing today, but I will try and give you a full ride. The first chapter is called Blue. I'm awake. More awake than I have been in this week, these past few weeks, these past few months. Lights are blinding, though the light of the sun is angled perfectly upon these white sheets, just to miss my eyes, though to give my body the right amount of warmth. These sheets tangled around my feet, my arms, my waist, where his arms once lay. Though he was always an early riser. Why is this so poetic? Why do I feel like I'm Rupi Kaur? All of this is there's just so many words that don't need to be there. Just cut to the chase. It was always something about the morning, something about the buzz of the beginning of the day, a new adventure that always seemed to captivate him. He never let me sleep in, for he feared that I too would miss these moments that entertained him. Although I never minded, for waking up in the morning and seeing his bright smile whilst his eyes laid upon every inch of my body could never make me feel anything but joy. If I had to describe him in one word, I would simply say joy, for that is what he gives me. Ew, what a disgusting sentence. The girl that wrote this had never been kissed. I had never held the hand of anyone. The only person I'd hugged was my mum. I did not know any of these feelings. Ugh. Whether he knows of the secret feelings and genuine heartache. What? Whether he knows of the secret feelings and genuine heartfelt love that I feel for him, I know that he will always understand the amount of joy he brings to me. His eyes are green, though they always end with a light shimmer of lime whenever he leans over the cup, jug in hand, creating his masterpiece. What do you mean it ends with a light shimmer of lime? Why are you describing this man like a cocktail? He always created things that understood him. A coffee, love. Oh yeah, my coffee understands me. She just really gets me. What do you mean? He created things that made life easier for him, and as he stands, coffee held in his hand, head thrown back with small chuckles because his heart is warm and his imagination is vivid, I begin to construct and understand the ideas that lay among his brain. Why is it that when I'm in the kitchen, coffee in hand, laughing to myself about nothing, I'm deemed insane, but when this man does it, he's just having a good old chuckle because his heart is warm? Oh, crazy. The double standard is appalling. His hair flops to one side as he begins to speak, for he is terrified to say the wrong thing, though he is casual enough to manipulate the small pieces of my heart. Did you sleep well? He speaks, even though he already knows the answer. He knows I spent the night shuffling, fidgeting, crying, until his arms lay softly upon my waist and pulled me delicately into his chest, though even the mention of last night's endeavours makes my cheeks blush tomato red. Why was he having such a rough night? We're just going to brush over that? No explanation? Okay. Well enough. Thank you for everything. A small chuckle escapes from my lips as I speak. Don't mention it. Anytime you need help, you've got me all right, he speaks, though his eyes begin to shimmer. He seems genuine, though I know he has spoken the very same words to someone else. His someone. Though the comment warms my heart much as he does. This is so gross. Connor was never fond of me in the same way that I loved him. He never knew of anything that was said, that was felt, ever about him, though the way that he looked at Sammy always reminded me that he never would return the feelings. Okay, Sammy in this story is a fictional person I created. I have no idea what this man looks like. I don't think I'll ever describe him because 13-year-old me did not know how to do that. But let's find out a little bit more about Sammy. Sammy was perfect, a perfect match for Connor. They had met in a casual way, a simple photograph, which is my favourite way to meet people. Yes, just a simple photograph, please. I'm going to tell my kids that I met their dad through a simple photograph. Okay, a little bit of a Nickelback reference. Sammy had stepped into the frame just at the right moment when Connor touched the button on his small iPhone. Why does it have to be small? Why did we have to add that specific word? He freezed the moment in time. His hair fell directly upon his forehead, his eyes being sheltered. They were blue, electric, camouflaged with the brightness of the sky as the trees fell directly out of shot. I fell in love with the photo as quickly as Connor fell for Sammy. There was something about him, the way the light shone upon his face that day, that made Connor understand every perfect thing about him. They fell in love. Several months passed and I moved out while Sammy moved in. In come the night terrors and out went soft snuggles with Connor. Out went the genuine thoughts and feelings that I thought, thinking he might just like me back, and in came the heartfelt pain directed towards Connor and everything that made him. In came Sammy and I was left forgotten. Damn. That's so sad. Though Connor came back recently, said he had needed some time with his best friend, I knew that he just needed to know I was okay before he left, before he made his way back home and left me. He would return calls only after they were missed, though he was still my best friend and nothing was going to change that. This is so dramatic. Honestly, this man has a boyfriend. Get up with your life and move on. Why are we acting like this? This is unbearable. Another coffee and one more episode, Connor speaks, moving the blanket loosely around his waist. Yeah, I could go for another one, I say, adjusting the blanket to be tighter around me as he got up. We had been laying there all afternoon watching stupid reruns of Freaks and Geeks, a million episodes we had all seen before, though somehow they made this situation more perfect. Snuggling up with Connor, getting to smell the perfect scent of his cologne. Of course it didn't mean anything. It never did. We had always been this way, close, too close for comfort, though I wouldn't change a thing about it. Connor returns moments later, setting the coffee down on the small table before us. Why does everything in this story is always just described as small? The small iPhone, the small table. I'm a small boy in a small world. Crazy. It's like it's the only adjective that I knew. This boy couldn't get more gorgeous. He slowly moves over me before settling at my side, arms draping over my waist. You know that song you wrote last month? He asks, his finger tracing small circles upon my hips, tickling my skin. He has a boyfriend and he is with his friend tracing circles on his hips. If my boyfriend did that with another woman, I would literally kill him. Maybe not literally, I don't want that on the record. If anything happens to my boyfriend, I had nothing to do with it. And I solemnly swear by that. Oh my goodness. Please don't hold that against me. I love you, Alex. I wouldn't kill you. Anyway, this man has a boyfriend. It's crazy to be acting like that. Ease, I reply, a small smile appearing upon my lips. Yeah, Ease. Well, I want to know, who inspired you to write that song? What inspired you? Everything. This. You. It's supposed to sum up the missing pieces of me, you know? I'm so afraid of life being like this. It's so terrifying, the whole YouTube thing. Don't have to tell me about that. I do not know what YouTube life is like. I have uploaded like 4 videos and no one watches them. Anyway, I can't go anywhere without knowing that at least one person will know who I am, and it is daunting. It's the best thing, though. I just feel so alone. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss my best friend, you. I just crave those moments where someone allows me to tell them everything, to allow me to just open up and cry, you know? Hey, Troye Sivan in this story, have you ever considered a therapist? I feel like that might be a perfect person to tell your problems to, rather than bottling them up and telling this man who has a boyfriend about them. Anyway, that's just a suggestion, lovely. You don't need to take it, and honestly, I don't think you're going to. Anyway, get on with your rant. I just need that constantly in my life, and to be declined of that in those moments where I am most terrified is completely terrifying to me. I move to look at him, facing towards him. I can feel his breath upon my face, the small looks he gives me becoming more evident, more realistic. Wow, I just want to apologize, you know? I'm scared that I'm slowly losing you as my best friend. I'm sorry about Sammy, but I love him to pieces, Troye. God, he is so gorgeous in the way he looks at me. He trails off slowly, shuffling. Sorry, I just want to know how you feel about this, because I feel like I've left you hanging, left you on some sort of hook, and I don't want to make you feel like that. I mean, you moved out, you've become so distant, and I don't want to lose my best friend. We're cuddling on your couch, Connor. I don't think we're so distant. Honestly, that's what I've been saying this whole time. This behavior is weird. Yes, Troye, finally say it. It's weird. Oh, look, I'm hurt. I'm going to be, but hearing you care and will continue to matters. Seeing you happy matters. Look, fuck. I love you, Connor. You're my best friend, and I don't want to lose you either. I snuggle softly into his neck, just simply embracing him. Oh my god, I just read the next line, and that is awful. Troye, do you love me as much as you love Nutella? Almost. Which, if you're a fan of Troye Sivan, that was a lyric to a song that he wrote. And I don't know why I put it in this fanfiction, but it's a fucking disgusting piece of dialogue. Why did I think that was cutesy? At the time, I would have been like, this is such a fluffy fic. They're so in love. Oh no, that's disgusting. And that's where we remain, snuggled up, for in his arms I feel the most happiest, and somehow that is enough for me. And that is the end of chapter 1. It was disgusting. There were way too many words, and I sincerely hope that chapter 2 is better, though I don't think it will be. The second chapter is called Lost Boy. Are all these chapters just names of Troye Sivan songs? Because that's not really original, but you know what? I'll take it. I wake up alone. The apartment's silent. It's dark outside, the night so dreary. The only light in the apartment is the TV light flickering, small murmurs coming from characters' mouths. The light allows me to sit up from my cozy den. There is a small note laying on the table before me, neat handwriting on a neon yellow sheet that read, Troye, I'm sorry that I left whilst you were asleep. However, I needed to get back and cook Sam tea as he was at uni today. I'm so sorry, though. I'll see you tomorrow at the airport. Sleep well, Troy boy. Boy is spelled B-O-I, and I feel like you really need to know that to understand how gross that just was for me to read. From Connor. P.S. I left my jumper on your bed so you have something to cuddle up to during the night if you get scared. You have a boyfriend. Why are you doing this? This is really strange. 13-year-old me had absolutely no concept of boundaries. That is odd behavior. Ooh. Airport tomorrow. Vidcon. How could I possibly forget? I suppose when I am around Connor, the world just fades away. The things I look forward to just don't matter because he is there and that is all I need. That is codependency. That is codependency and that is gross. I feel like fanfiction around this time was really teaching us that, right? Like when we look at fanfiction, so many of the characters were like these really aggressive men, like Harry Styles, who was like a mafia boss, or like even just like a normal college student, but he's like a dick to everyone else, but he's soft at the center for his princess and he would never hurt her. And she was just like this codependent lost thing. And so much of fanfiction is like that. It's just these really angsty, codependent, toxic as fuck relationships that we were all just romanticizing. It is so gross. Anyway, let's get back to this, even though I don't want to. Packing is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you are in a rush. By the time I am finished, I am exhausted. My back aches while obvious black bags are forming underneath my eyes. My eyes are struggling to remain open, closing and opening, closing and opening. Slowly, I move closer towards my bed. The sheets are cold on my feet, my back, my body. Small goosebumps form upon the top of my skin, leaving me breathless. All I want is for someone to help me sleep, someone to lay their arms softly around my waist, allowing me to bury my face deeper into their necks, for someone to care enough to talk with me until the late AM about stupid things, dumb little ideas that we have that we wish to fulfill before we die, however we feel as though we are running out of time. Oh my God, maybe I was just a really lonely, depressed teenager who needed a friend. This is a really grim realization to have on a public platform. Anyway, I wanted someone to share everything with, to be relaxed with before drifting off into a deep sleep. I wanted someone. I wanted Connor. Somehow just the thought of it makes me fall straight asleep. And with that, my camera is dying, so we will cut for now and I will be back. I arise to the sun, a small glimpse of light peering in through the hole in my curtains, and I've spelt hole W-H-O-L-E, which really shows how proficient I was at spelling at age 13. The light seems to illuminate every inch of this heavenly paradise. The sheets wrapped around my legs loosely falling off my side, lighting up the wooden floors which seem to shimmer in the light, lighting up the pieces of clothing that has been thrown around from last night's antics, lighting up my blushing face as I think of him and how I shall see him in less than an hour. My flight leaves very shortly, around about 2 hours to be exact. Though I have a cab arriving in a half hour to take me to the airport, you are not going to get to your flight in time. Your flight leaves in 2 hours and you're leaving in half an hour. By the time you get there and you go through security, your flight's going to have taken off, Troy. Oh my goodness. I've always loved travelling. The experience of an adventure and genuine thrill excites me, though I haven't been good at packaging stress when it comes to situations like these, situations where anything could happen. Everything is not in my control. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. This fic is actually sponsored by Ellie Goulding. I thought I would let you know. Thinking of the flight allows me to finally draw myself out of bed in order to get ready for the day. The floor is cold, too cold, as I move my feet across it. I'm willing to get to the kitchen, an iced coffee to set the mood of the morning, the mood of the week. I've never been a huge fan of coffee, though after my first experience trying it, I find it hard to say no to another cup. So you are fond of coffee, and the first time you had it, you really liked it. So you are a fan. That makes no sense. Anyway, we're going into a flashback now. Troy, I made you a coffee, wake up, Connor speaks softly into my ear. I'm hidden within his white sheets, still in the same position from last night's movie night where I fell fast asleep before viewing the climactic end. I don't even drink coffee, Con. Let me sleep, I groan, my body twisting and turning to get away from him, though he is everywhere and somehow I find myself smiling into the sheets. Okay, you little simp. For me, please, just try it once for me, and if you don't like it, I won't make it for you again. But I've made it, and I think you're really going to like it, he says, his eyes trained on my curls. Do you mean like fixated? What do you mean? They've been training, staring at your curls? They're at fucking curl boot camp? That is crazy. Yes, I hear him yell behind me before he sprints. Oh, wait, hold on. Troy does say yes to the coffee. Okay, just this once, I say as my legs make their way to the side of the bed as I stand looking at Connor before making my way out of the room. That sentence could have just been, okay, just this once, I say before making my way out of the room. Why is there all this garbage in between? Ugh! Yes, I hear him yell behind me before he sprints ahead of me into the kitchen, disappearing from sight. The coffee was great, more than what I had expected from it, though the fact that Connor was so proud of his creation, so proud that I enjoyed something he'd spent time on, made it even better. Do you like it? He spoke quietly, his green eyes meeting mine. I love it, I smiled back, and Connor never stopped. Every night he stayed over, I would awake to a cup of coffee and a sleepy Connor. He would wake up 10 minutes before I did and make me a cup. It just never stopped. It was perfect, the whole thing. Flashback over. The sound of a bell echoes around the house. I quickly hunt for my luggage before making my way towards the door. There he stands, a small white boy. The perfect description. A small white boy. He is lanky and short, though extends his hand and introduces himself. Hi, my name is Johnny and I'll be your driver today. If you give me your luggage, I'll place it into the back of my car and we can begin our journey. I hope you enjoy the ride. I wish that all of my Ubers introduced themselves to me like that. That would honestly make this world so whimsical and beautiful. I wish that the world had more people like Johnny. Thanks, I say. I'll just go hop in the car. Thanks for this. The drive is short and soon enough I see the entrance to the airport. I'm always fascinated at the side of the airport. There's always something about it. It's mainly the people watching. Everyone's going on a journey somewhere and I want to figure out where it is. My mum used to always growl me off for lurking around people's belongings, snooping to find things out, though I was excited and curious. It's a big world we live in. Okay, Curious George, what the hell? Shortly we reach the entrance and Johnny quickly grabs my luggage as I get out of the car. As I go to stand, a rush of wind is felt around my body. It's cold out, the wind more powerful than it usually has been, though the sun is still shining blissfully. We usually have weird weather, especially when seasons are changing. Hey, thanks for the ride, I say as I hand over $20 into the young boy's hand. Not a worry, enjoy your flight, Johnny says before slipping into the car and driving slowly away. I spin around to face the entrance of the airport and am amazed by the amount of people, the amount of crowds that lurk around every corner, lining up for food, for drinks, for the bathroom, all waiting for something. I quickly make my way inside, the warm air instantly hitting my skin. I always appreciate warmth, especially in places where I am stressed. I look up slowly and there he is. Connor, looking down at his phone, his thumbs twiddling as he stares. Connor, I yell, and his head whips up, a smile instantly appearing upon his lips. Troy, he roars before running towards me. His arms are open wide, inviting, and eventually they are wrapped around me and time just stops completely until he pulls away. Hey, I'm really sorry about leaving last night. I just had to get back on. Connor, it's fine. You had things to do. I get it. I cut him off. He's always worrying too much about things. It's a flaw, but I mean, at least he cares. Look, Troye, I gotta tell you something. It's kind of important, he begins to speak. His eyes are looking down at the ground, almost as if they are afraid to look up. He's hesitant. He always has been. It's just something about him, the way he worries so easily, the way his forehead crinkles together whenever he is fretting over something, the way his eyes will look down, wandering only at aimless pieces of dirt or a tiled floor. His worry and nervousness worries me, for how can something be that bad? Honestly, that's a valid question. What? I ask, reaching one arm up to touch his shoulder for comfort. My eyes reach... Huh? My eyes reach and instant tingles run down my spine. Your eyes reach what? My eyes poke out of my head. What are you on about? Troye, Connor, how y'all doing? I missed y'all so much. A voice speaks from behind me, ruining the mood of the conversation, cutting us off. The voice is bouncy and positive. I spin around and come face to face with none other than Tyler Oakley. Oh my God. That is genuinely a name I haven't heard in years. That is like hearing the name of an ex. Tyler Oakley? That is crazy. Tilly, I squeal before wrapping my arms around him, instantly feeling more aware of everything. Tyler had always been a massive part of my life. He's always been someone that I could turn to about anything, absolutely anything. Our friendship was tamed when he moved to LA, away from home. I missed you so much, boy. How about we go get a drink at the cafe? Zoe will be here in a few if you want to go catch her, Connor, Tyler says. His voice is higher than it usually is, probably because of lack of sleep. Or excitement. You two go ahead. I'll wait here for Zoe, Connor says, playing with his sleeves. He backs his way slowly to the main seating area around him as I grab my luggage and start walking off with Tyler. I hate to leave him alone, just sitting there, though I never usually see Tyler. We've got this whole trip planned, these busy days ahead of us where I may never even see Connor or even get time to sit with him, yet alone have a conversation or a cuddle at night. I feel guilty, so guilty watching him sit alone in this busy place when a million faces focus on everyone and everything. You can fit 1 million people in an airport? What airport are you at? 1 million people? That's a lot of people. And honestly, if I was one of the 1 million people in the airport, I don't think all of us would be staring at Connor Franta. I know I would be, but I'm 1 in 1 million, baby. And don't you ever forget that. Ty, I love you heaps and all, but do you think we can stay with Connor? I just feel bad leaving him on his own. My voice trails off as my eyes vert back to Connor. He looks so sad, just staring at the ground as people pass by him, all staring at him, probably wondering why he is alone. Does someone have something for Connor? Tyler teases, and I can feel my face begin to turn tomato red. Of course we can go back, Troye. Zoe will be here soon anyway, he spits out before turning around, grabbing my hand and making us run back to Connor. The world is spinning too fast as I run, blurs of faces, buildings, lines all blocking my vision being repeated one after another. It's a never-ending spiral. Though Tyler doesn't know this, and so the running continues until it doesn't, and we both stand, bodies exhausted, though still straight up in front of Connor. Connor with his hair so golden and brown hanging over his eyes as he looks down. His eyes are hidden. Until they are not, and he stares at us, a small smile playing on his face. Somehow his smile drowns out the crowds in this airport, this massive place full of 1 million faces, and all I see is his. What are you two doing back so soon, he asks, his eyes connected to mine, never leaving even for a second. Troye here missed you so much that he made us come back and stay with you, Tyler begins to nudge my side as he speaks. I feel the blood rush to my face, my heart beating faster in my chest. I can feel Connor's stare on me, looking up and down, almost looking for an answer. I just didn't want to leave him alone, I begin to mutter to the floor. Don't be a dick. Connor and Tyler just laugh as we all begin to sit down, myself besides Connor and Tyler on the other side. We begin to talk like old times about stupid jokes, dumb pranks that we pulled on people, and just old memories. It feels natural, so lovely to just sit there and joke with old mates. I never really found myself fitting in when I was younger, and now that I've gotten myself a group of people that I love, people I find myself loving every minute with, I'm happy. Holy smokes, 13-year-old Jorja was so lonely. I feel like all I wanted was a group of friends, right? And instead I was just writing about these people that were friends. Maybe trying to manifest that in my own life. That is so sad. Let's get back into this. Minutes pass, half an hour, and then she arrives. Zoe Sugg. Oh yeah, welcome back, Zoella. She was always late for things, never on time due to personal things, or so she said. Excited, boys? I'm more excited for the plane ride to finally begin. We've been here for ages, Connor groans, his eyes looking directly at Zoe. She's wearing a blue jumpsuit, though it fits her body so well. So perfectly. She's so thin, just so perfect as a person. Why is 13-year-old me thinking that being thin makes you a perfect person? That's really disgusting, Jorja. Ah! She giggles at Connor's comment, her shoulders relaxing as she sits beside Tyler. We should probably start heading to the gate. Our flight takes off in about 15 minutes. Tyler screeches, "Why are you not on the plane? Your plane would have boarded like 30 minutes ago if it's going to take off in 15 minutes. Get your ass on the plane!" Anyway, the plane is big, lights on so I can view the faces of everyone. Some are nervous, some are happy, joy for their trip. Some are sad like they are leaving some type of paradise. Maybe someone they loved. Though my face is probably the most sickening as I sit down in my seat. "Tro, are you okay?" Connor says, his hand slipping into mine. "I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I want to get off. I want to go home, Con." I shake as I speak, my hands becoming something I can't keep still. My eyes are trying to focus on Connor, on his eyes, his nose, his face on him, though every look becomes dizzy as the plane moves, jolting slowly before zooming up further into the air. "Breathe, Troy. I'm here. Look at me. Just look at me, at nothing else but me," he speaks. His voice is soft, smooth as he looks into my eyes. My hands are squeezing his hands tighter, though I'm still terrified. "I can't, Con. I can't. I want off, please." I look desperate. I hate being in the air. I hate this plane ride. I hate this. I want to get off. I want to get home. The air is trapped, warm, and I'm scared. Faces stare as I look around. It's terrifying. I hate flying. I absolutely hate it. Every bit of it. Which is definitely my own hatred for flights coming into this fic. I absolutely hate flying, so much so that anytime that I fly anywhere, my partner usually books a flight and comes with me. He's done it twice. I'm trying to get into the habit of flying on my own, but gosh darn, flying is so scary. I agree with you, 13-year-old Jorja. That shit's scary. Come here. Come here, it's okay," Connor softly speaks before pulling me into his chest, allowing me to breathe in his scent. I'm so scared, though Connor always calms me. The way his arms wrap around to fit my waist perfectly soothes me completely. He's anything I ever wanted in someone, and now he is. He begins to hum, sweet tunes filling my ears. I don't even know what he is humming, some random tune that sounds so familiar, so soothing until it becomes nothing as my eyes close, still wrapped up in his arms. 10 minutes of the flight gone, another 340 to go. And that's the end of chapter 2. Wow. I'm frustrated. How many pages am I into this? Let me see. I'm frustrated that I'm close to 20 pages in, and so far, nothing has happened. Nothing of interest. We've just been too busy waffling on the whole time. Let's hope that chapter 3 is better. This one is titled Fools, which is another Troye Sivan song. I'm asleep, though I can hear chatter around me, the constant noise, though all of the noise seems to go through one ear and out the other. No words sticking into my brain, nothing remaining. "Troy, are you awake?" A soft voice hold on, I'm going to close this curtain. Little lighting. Sorry about that, team. Anyway. I'm asleep, though I can hear the chatter around me, the constant noise, though all of the noise seems to go through one ear and out the other, no words sticking into my brain. "Troy, are you awake?" A soft voice murmurs into my ear, though I can feel something vibrate as the voice speaks. It's Connor. "Sorry, I didn't mean to fall asleep. I begin, my head rising as it sits upright, a small surge of blood pounding through my head, though Connor cuts me off before I can finish anything. "Don't worry about it. These things happen, Troy," he says. "How long of this flight do we have left?" I ask. Considering I'd been asleep for so long, I was out of it. The proportion of the flight I slept, I don't even know. "About 15 minutes. That's why I wanted to wake you up, so you don't look like a dick when the plane actually lands." "Thanks, Con," I reply before looking down at my hands. These 15 minutes were going to rush by. I knew that much. For any time that I am with Connor, time just tends to speed up. Connor, do you think we'll actually get time to hang out on this trip? That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Connor adjusts himself in the seat so that his whole body is facing towards mine. What's going on? I asked nervously. I tried to tell you before, but Tyler, he says, his voice trailing off. Look, Sammy is coming to Vidcon. Not his boyfriend. How are you guys going to do really inappropriate PDA and have sleepovers where you caress each other really intimately? Oh no! I know you hate him and all, but he asked to go and I didn't want to leave him behind. You know what he's like though, about our friendship. I give you a hug and he threatens to break up with me. Yeah, probably because you're caressing his hips in bed, Connor. Probably because you're having little sleepovers, waking up in the morning, bringing him coffee while he's snuggling into your neck. I'd feel uncomfortable about that too. I don't think Sammy's a bad guy for saying that. Anyway, what else you got to say? I don't know if we should hang out like we usually do. And that is when Connor Franta broke off a little piece of my heart. Ugh. It wasn't even that Sammy was going to be there, that he would take time away from me and Connor. It wasn't even that I knew that Connor would want nothing to do with me when Sammy was there. It wasn't that Connor didn't want to hang out with me or wouldn't hang out with me for the whole duration of the trip. It was that he was willing to change himself and the friendship that he had with me to keep his boyfriend, the one who hated me. Sammy had always hated me, probably always will, and that is what drove me wild. You drive me wild, 'cause when you look like that, never ever wanted to be so bad, oh, and it drives me wild. Okay, little Troye Sivan reference in the Troye Sivan fic, real nonchalant. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We will be landing in California in 5 minutes. A voice breaks out over the announcement, dropping the situation entirely. Until we see him and... Wait, what? Okay, a voice... Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We will be landing in California in 5 minutes. A voice breaks out over the announcement, dropping the situation entirely. Our eyes avoid each other for the rest of the flight, the walk into the airport, and the walk into the hotel. Until we see him, and my eyes trailed further to the ground than they ever have before. I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to see him with Connor. The way they acted all in love together. The simple snuggles everywhere. The hand holding. The soft kisses they shared that were so full of passion and love. The things they would do to damage my heart. He never cared. He knew what he was doing. Sammy never cared. All he wanted was Connor. Everything to do with him. He was obsessed. Though I'm not much better. At least you're self-aware, mate. I'll give you that. But oh my gosh. After all the reunions and unwanted company, Tyler and I decided to go and get something to eat before we went to bed. I'm pretty sure we both just wanted out of that house. It just didn't feel right, the whole vibe of the place. It felt off, awkward, uncomfortable. I felt dirty in there, like I'd experienced something I shouldn't have. Like I had touched something I shouldn't have. Yeah, probably because you were bloody probing that guy's boyfriend before. Probably because you've been caressing Connor Franta the whole time, you little weirdo. We decided on just going to Macca's, and it wasn't that far away and we could just sit there and chat before heading home. The journey was quick considering the time of night. This is what Tyler and I used to do when we lived in New York. Just get up at random hours in the morning and go and get something to eat or just do something stupid. It's something that I missed about Tyler. We walk inside the restaurant, the cold air instantly replaced by heat and a dodgy smell. The place was mainly empty, weird faces scattered in corners. It was nice to be alone with Tyler. We took our order before choosing some seats in the back of the restaurant, close enough to the window to view the traffic and blinking lights of the city, though far enough to not be seen by anyone. It was nice. So what did he say that's made you upset? Tyler says, pulling me out of my thoughts. Just some stupid stuff about how Sammy didn't want me around him so he couldn't hang out this trip. I always hated that Sammy kid. Why has that gotten you down? He asked, his face full of concern. He just doesn't get it, the whole thing with Connor, the friendship we had. It's just Connor. We do everything together. We're just really close and keeping away from him is so hard, Ty. I love him so much, every piece of him, every smile, every frown, just everything. His eyes, his hair, his personality, just everything, though he will never be mine. He'll give up our friendship just for Sammy and it just hurts a lot. I just spill everything out to him. I can't bottle it up anymore. Troye, do you really think loving him is a good idea? Why would it not be? Because he's hurting you, and because he is someone else, Tyler speaks, looking directly into my eyes. He is concerned. I know he is. Connor can hurt within a blink of an eye if he really wanted to. He knows how to break me. He's my best friend. He just doesn't know everything. I can't stop loving him, I say, looking anywhere but at Tyler. Why not? Because I'm in too deep to stop loving him now. Ooh! Why am I suddenly becoming invested? I don't know what happens in this fanfic, but I'm suddenly drawn in. That little McDonald's confessions got me reeled in, hook, line, and sinker. I do think that Troy's acting really weird with Connor. I don't think you should be acting like that towards someone's boyfriend. Like, honestly, this whole situation would be better if you moved on. Maybe you had a little bit of space. Maybe it's kind of good that you're not seeing Connor for the rest of the trip. I feel like that's kind of what you two need. Anyway, this chapter is titled All I Need Is You, which is a Troye Sivan lyric, not a Troye Sivan song. Interesting. The hotel pool is heated, the temperature moderately warm against the scody walls of the pool. There was a nice little getaway. The hotel room was chaotic, every argument, every word thrown from mouths. Sammy was never happy, never genuinely happy and appreciating life. He never was, and somehow his mood had dampened the amount of love we all had for each other in that hotel room. Everyone lost a piece of themselves within the late AM screaming. Though I was most upset and insecure than all of them, for I knew I was the reason that Sammy screamed until Connor cried. That just took a really dark turn. What the heck? When I was a child, I had an issue with showing my chest. It was a genuine insecurity. There were just so many things that I found myself judging. The strange hairs illuminating the stretched parts of my skin, the parts where most of my bones were shown. I always had an issue with swimming when I was younger because of my insecurity. I would bawl my eyes out at the very thought of swimming, though here in this hotel pool alone, I find the confidence to peel my t-shirt off and dive straight into the water. I'm alone, just bobbing through the water and thinking of the things that were happening. The happiness, the sadness, the lack of communication. Ever since the screaming fit, everyone went a little wild. I don't even know why it happened, the whole thing. Tyler and I had returned after an hour to find Zoe in the corner of the lounge bawling her eyes out. There was an evident darkness in the room, the mood dampened completely. All I could hear was my name being thrown back and forth between the walls. Connor's name, Connor's cries, Sammy's yelling, nothing, emptiness, silent weeping. My name being whispered through a wall, though no one ever answered. We have a meet and greet today with some of our fans at noon and then dinner at a restaurant somewhere in the city. Tyler has organised everything. He's probably the most mature out of all of us when it comes to VidCon and travelling, though that is probably due to his excitement. Connor used to be the most mature, though some traits were lost when he got with Sammy. Okay. The floor starts to become too hard on my bottom, and so slowly I make my way to my feet, making my way out of the pool. I head quickly to the lift and press the button. All I want is to be in the hotel room rather than dripping water onto the floor below me. The lift doors finally open. I walk through the lift doors and impatiently wait for them to close, though something stops the doors from closing. No, someone. It's Connor. He's wearing a cap, the one I bought him for Christmas. The blue of the hat is illuminating in the light. I recognize his jumper being one that he left at my house. He just looked perfect. Every inch of his body is so perfect. Troye, can you literally stop being horny for 1 second? Can we stop yearning just for a second? This man just got into a massive fight with his boyfriend about you, and here you are in the lift bloody yearning. Pack it away, boy. Hey, he speaks into the silence of the lift. Hey, I respond, looking at him slightly. There was a buzzing silence between us, all the emotions held between us drifting in the air. Though the silence wasn't uncomfortable between us, it was natural, comfortable. Are you excited for the meet and greet? He blurts out, his hands finding their way to his pockets. As excited as I can be, I reply happily. I want to meet fans, but I'm just tired. I let out a small laugh as I speak, my eyes glancing over at his face. Yeah. There's another moment of pure silence where we both just stare at each other. Our eyes are having conversations of their own, seeking out words, sentences, questions that we are too scared to ask each other. Troye, darling, I think you might be a little bit delusional. Like, have you just been looking at each other? That's the real question. The lift door opens and we're both stumbling out of the lift trying to make our way back to the hotel room. Hey, Troye, Connor says. Yeah? Can I have a hug, he asks, his eyes looking down at the ground, anywhere else but my eyes. He looks nervous, though he looks so perfect. Everything just right. Yes, I blurt out, watching the way his shoulders relax, slumping slowly. Oh my god, yes! I reach up and wrap my arms loosely around his shoulders. I hate you being mad at me, he says into my neck. I can feel his breath on my neck as he speaks, sending tingles down my spine. I missed you, I reply, hugging him tighter. I've missed you more. He squeezes me back before he pulls away. We continue walking together back to the hotel room, just talking about random nonsense. Hey, Troy, Connor says sadly, his voice lowering from his usual tune. That hug doesn't change things. We still need to be away from each other near Sammy. Okay, I reply. And that is when Connor Franta broke off another little piece of my heart. This boy is so dramatic. So dramatic. Like, sorry that your best friend is setting a boundary. Can we just respect that? The hotel room was completely silent as Ree returned. Everyone had kept to themselves. There was an awkward, eerie silence running through the house. Just the feel of the room sent tingles down my spine. Tyler was collapsed on the couch, his arms slowly picking at the fluff on the carpet. A blanket was draped over his waist, slowly falling to the floor, soft snores falling from his mouth. His breathing was inconsistent, though he looked relaxed. Zoe was hiding in her room, keeping away from everyone as much as possible. She never really spoke to anyone unless she was asked to or spoken to, and so mostly she found peace in her room where no one would judge her for not speaking, for not involving herself with anyone else. Sammy was waiting by the door, his heart pounding deep in his chest. He loved Connor more than he loved anyone. Connor was all he had. Everyone else had left him. When he came out, no one wanted anything to do with him. Every family member, every friend, disgusted. They left him behind, the whole lot of them. Sammy could never find someone to replace the ones who had left him. No matter how hard he looked, no one would care enough to love him, to look after him until he found Connor. He was so in love with Connor, so afraid of losing him. He could feel Connor slipping away. Every mention of Troy, of what he could be with Troy, set a massive erosion of butterflies to erupt in his stomach. What a fucking mouthful, a massive erosion of butterflies. The very thought of losing Connor made Sammy feel sick, and so he waited. Beside the door he sat, waiting for a sign of Connor, though he wasn't ready, prepared to see Connor walk in with Troy. Oh my gosh, I feel like there's gonna be a massive fight. Honestly, I wanted to make fun of him for sitting by the door and waiting for Connor to get back. Like, that's a little codependent. But considering Connor has been tracing little circles on Troy's hip, making him coffee and snuggling with him every night, I don't blame the wee fella. Let's get into chapter 5. I'm just a lost boy, not ready to be found, which is another Troye Sivan lyric. I'd never seen Sammy look so frantic in the whole time I have known him. I'd only seen small glimpses of him, though I'd never seen him be so wild with anyone. As soon as Connor came into the room, Sammy had pounced on him, hugging him tighter and tighter with every second that passed. There were tears streaming down his face, soaking Connor's shirt. "What's wrong, babe?" Connor spoke softly into Sammy's neck. "I thought I'd lost you," Sammy whispered into Connor's shirt. He looked so torn, so worried about Connor, genuinely terrified for him. Hasn't he just been gone for like maybe half an hour? That is crazy behavior. Why are we so concerned? Codependency. Oh my god, 13-year-old Jorja, please learn what that word means. It'll come in useful for your future, I promise. "You're not gonna lose me," Connor said. And that is when I realized that Connor Franta would never be mine. "Excuse me," I spoke up, the thought of them being together creating a sick feeling in my stomach. I was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, watching the two of them being cozy together. "Oh, sorry, Troy," Connor said, his face turning to face me completely as the two parted from each other to give me room to get through. Sammy was staring at me, this anger running behind his eyes. He glared at me viciously as I moved, watching everything I did. What was this boy's problem? "Troy, honestly, I need you to sit down and have a wee think. I think you'd be able to work it out, babe." I walked towards my room, deciding that the best thing to do was to just get ready for this meetup before I started any more drama in this small hotel room. I can hear small murmurs coming from the living room, loud conversations silenced through the thickness of these walls, though I knew that nothing would become too severe. No argument would arise, for Tyler was right on that couch and he would hear everything. I turned to my wardrobe, reaching to the door before sliding it slowly to the left. Instantly, my dress shirts are revealed. After numerous outfit changes, I decided on a dark blue button-up with some knee-ripped blue jeans. A casual outfit, but enough to look good for my viewers. The meetup is in about 30 minutes, though we are meeting everyone at a park nearby. Turning quickly on my heels, I turned to face the door before walking through it and into the lounge. Tyler is still passed out on the couch. Tilly, Ty, I whisper, hovering over Tyler's body, my knees fixed to the floor. Tilly, wake up, you don't have long to get ready. Troye, Tyler groans, his face pushing deeper into the cushions as he groans, his body stretching. Yeah, it's me, Tilly, you need to wake up, we're meeting viewers soon. Okay, and just like that, everyone is in their rooms preparing for our meetup. And that is the end of chapter 5. This is so unbearable. I just think that the characters are so codependent. They have no lives outside of each other. Everything has to do with the person that they're into. Every single action, everything is so overthought. And it's all about this one person. It is obscene. I think this will be our last chapter for today. This is chapter 6 and it is titled Only Fools, which is of course another Troye Sivan lyric. Troye, Connor's voice echoes through my room as he stands at my doorway leaning against the door. You got a minute? Yeah, I reply, sitting down onto my bed, raising my hand to beckon him to come sit next to me. He slowly closes the door, making an effort to lessen the sound of the door closing. Then he walks towards me, each step getting larger as he moves. What, so he's just like, he started taking small steps and now he's taking massive steps? Now he's like jumping? What does that even mean? What's up, Con? I ask as he sits, the sun hitting his chest, illuminating his body. I'm scared, he sadly says, his lip quivering. What of? Con, are you okay? I say, my arms moving slowly towards him as tears rise in his eyes. Of Sam. He's getting really possessive. A choked sob escapes from his throat. I don't know what to say, how to comfort him. Connor, what is going on? I need answers from him, some sign that he is okay. I hate that Sammy hurts him, makes him run himself down like this. He's scaring me, Tro. His head falls on my chest as he speaks, more tears falling from his eyes. He won't let me hang out with anyone anymore. He nearly bit my head off the other night because I sat next to you on the plane. He... And I wrote that. I hate when books or fan fictions, or even sometimes people do it when they text, and they do the fake stutter. It's so cringe. I hate it. He what, Connor? I spit out. I can't take the silence anymore, this insecurity erupting from within him. He hit me, Connor blurts out before bursting into tears, loud sobs erupting from his throat. What the fuck? I can't even believe that someone would hurt Connor. My Connor. Just the thought of a hand raising above him, torturing him before laying upon his skin sickens me, truly disgusts me. And I ignored him, his wailing. I expected harsh words to be the cause of his wailing, his pain, though I ignored the truth. I ignored him whispering my name behind the wall asking for help. I ignored his plea for help. I left him to suffer for the night, something he has never done to me. I feel disgusted. That feels a little bit like a savior complex. Just saying, Troye. I'm sorry, my friend. Con, I'm sorry. I should have been there. I should have been there to help you, to hold you. Damn, God, fuck, I love you, and shit, I'm such a dick. Tears fall quickly down my face as I squeeze him tighter. His tears are falling faster as his arms squeeze my waist tighter. Help me, please, he pleads to me, soaking me with tears. I will, Con, I will, I say into his ear, leaving small kisses upon his head. What? Is now the time for that? Just saying. He's on the panel tomorrow, Troye. We're just going to have to pretend we are happy, that everything is fine, just for a day. I've had enough of pretending. I know. I'll have to pretend to be with them for the rest of the trip. Most fans came to see us. We have to act happy for them at least, he says, pulling himself away from me. Everything will go back to normal when we get back home, Con. I try my best to comfort him, to make him feel better in these times. Can I sleep in here with you for the rest of the trip, he asks. Not if it means that he hurts you again, I say as a tear slides down my face, trailing down to the floor. Okay, he says, though I can tell he is anything but fine with the idea of having to spend nights with Sam. You message me at night when you can't sleep and you need me. You message me. I need you all the time, though, Troye. Codependency? Who said that? Then message me all the time. I smile at him. Now we better get going. We've got a meet-up to attend. Together, he says happily. Together, I giggle back at him before we leave the room. Together was a thing that we shared together, a sign we would give the other person to let them know we would always be with them, that we loved them, that we supported them. It's the safety word, the happy word, and is simply the reason that Connor and I are happy with each other. How I wish that boy was mine. Do you think that together was Connor and Troye's version of okay, okay? From The Fault in Our Stars, because I feel like that's exactly what I was trying to portray, and obviously I did not have that cultural effect. I also think it's so bizarre that Troye is just leaving Connor with this man. If my friend came to me and was like, hey, I'm being abused by my boyfriend, I really need your help, the last thing I'm doing is going, okay, you stay with them, you sleep with them every night, and just give me a text if he's hurting you. No, Troye, go and get help. Take him away from Sammy. Clearly, they cannot be together. This is crazy. What is the logic? He held his hand over top of the table, small squeezes being pushed every second. He was smiling more than he had in a while, the light bringing the whiteness in his teeth to shine more brighter. Though he wasn't happy with me. It was Sammy and everything about him. Well, clearly not. He's just come to you saying that he hates his boyfriend, basically. So why are we still acting like they're in love? Anyway. Oh, actually, maybe I should have just kept reading. At least that's what the camera saw, what the fans imagined, what everyone craved. The fake smile lay upon Connor's face was never mentioned by the cameras, never noticed by the faces of fans, and never noticed by Sammy. They were oblivious to the pain that Connor had felt in order to be brave, to be something they had wanted him to be. Even though I knew it was fake, every single smile, every moment of awe, I couldn't help but feel a massive strike of pain whenever Connor would stare at him. They had whispered short I love yous as they were afraid for the world to hear them. The way they looked at each other had made the point very clear, and all of a sudden I was completely lonely. The small stares lingering for a few seconds, and they should have sent strikes of pain to shoot through my heart. He is being abused by his boyfriend, Troye. You have nothing to be jealous of. You do not want to be in that situation. They are not in love. Pull yourself together. No one knows the true story, that we ignored him, that we left him to cry, that we ignored him as he called out our names throughout the walls, that he whispered my name before he fell asleep. The panel was talking about stupid things, rumours, gossip, and every single dramatic moment that had happened in the YouTube community. So Troye, anything interesting happening in your life at the moment? A fan in the audience asked. She was small and spoke like she was very shy. This was why I loved communicating to fans. They made me feel so happy. Well, I'm at a YouTube convention. I begin to giggle with the crowd, happiness being felt in every inch of my body. But that's about it. The girl sat back down just in time for another to stand up. This girl was tall, long brown hair flowing down to her knees. Holy fuck! Have you never cut your hair flowing down to your knees? Jesus! Any boy we should know about? She spoke with a smirk, his eyes fixated on my body. It seemed as though she knew something that she couldn't. Well, there is this one boy. The crowd erupts into screams, though I can feel Connor's gaze on me. I turn to look at him and see a genuine look of shock on his face. He's perfect. Perfect eyes. He is amazing. I'll introduce you to him one day, when he is actually mine. Can you imagine being in the Vidcon audience and staring at your favourite YouTuber you've been watching for years and hearing them go, yeah, I've got a crush on this guy and he's He's so perfect, and I love him. And you don't know him yet, but one day I'll introduce him to you when he's mine. That would make me cringe. Why would you say something like that? I feel like little me, that was obsessed with YouTube, kind of felt like these YouTubers had to share everything about themselves and they had no right to privacy. They just had to share everything. And so I was expecting my favorite YouTubers to go to VidCon and be like, yeah, I have a crush on this guy. Let me tell you everything about it. Like, of course that's not going to happen. This is not realistic at all. And I mean, it is a fan fiction, but come on. The crowd erupts into screams again, cooing over my red face. It's funny they never picked up a thing about Connor, no words seeming to draw to him. I don't even know if he knows. That day was the longest day I've had in a while. And that's the end of chapter 6. And that is where we will leave coffee stains for today. Oh my gosh. This book is crazy. It genuinely should be the handbook of codependency. I think it's also really strange that 13-year-old me is writing about abuse. I do not have any credentials at that age to talk about abuse. I didn't know anything. I just probably read like an after fanfic. I didn't know what I was talking about, and it's really clear, but it's just so interesting that all of these characters are obsessed with each other, and all of their dynamics are like, I cannot live without you, I love you, if you leave this room for 30 minutes, I'll sit outside the door, and I love you so much, and please make me coffee and let me kiss you and spoon you even though you have a boyfriend because we're just such good friends. I think 13-year-old me just needed a friend, but not that close of a friend. Oh my lord. But that is the end of today's podcast. It has been so much fun having you here with me while we read this god awful fanfic. Next week, we'll pick up where we left off and try to finish Coffee Stains. Who knows what will happen? Will Troye and Connor end up together? Will Sammy finally go to prison? Will they stop being so codependent, or will it just get insanely worse? Does 13-year-old me eventually make a friend and stop being so lonely? All of these questions will be answered next week. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, have a great week and take care of yourself. See ya!